Good afternoon. It is Saturday, October 15th, and I want to welcome you all to EDU 520 Curriculum and Assessment. And I understand that this is your first class. You're all taking a makeup class along with another course. So you will be busy this term. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dee Peterson. I am currently employed as the District Director for Elementary Avid and the District RTI Coach in Orange Unified in Orange County. I have been teaching for Concordia for about the last 8 years since their Master's Cohort program began. I have taught all the courses in this program. However, this is my second course doing an online class. So this will be a little bit new for me, although we did make it through the last class, so that's behind us now. I want you to make sure to know how to get a hold of me. On Blackboard, my name, my phone number, and my email is posted, as well as on the first page of your syllabus. Please note that I am Peterson with an E, so be careful when you send me an email. Also posted on Blackboard and on your syllabus are all of the assignments, and there's kind of a summary sheet of your assignments and the points that each one are worth on page 13 of your syllabus. So let's talk a little bit about the requirements for this course, and particularly for this next week. You will notice that every week you have some discussion board entries. Sometimes it's 1 entry, sometimes it's 2. I want you to make sure that you look at the criteria for discussion board before you finish posting. The criteria is also associated with a grading rubric that is also posted on Blackboard. The expectation is that you will make an initial post each week for each discussion board question. Those initial posts must be done by midnight on Thursday of each week. Additionally, you need to make 2 responses to your peers' postings. And those need to be 2 responses to each discussion board question. So if, like you have this week, 2 discussion board entries, you will need to make 2 peer responses to each one for a total of 4. So you'll have 2 initial entries this week and 4 responses. The responses don't need to be made or completed until Sunday night at midnight. When you post your initial response, please be aware that you need to put a citation, an APA citation for that response. Generally, those will be from your textbook, but it might also be from videos or other articles that have been uploaded for you to use. So check the APA. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but make sure that you get in the habit of putting an APA citation for each of your postings. When you are ready to make your first submissions on discussion board, simply go to the left side of Blackboard where it's and click on week 1, and then as you scroll down the week, you'll see discussion board. Click on that and it will give you your prompts. For this week, you'll have 2 yellow buttons. One says Week 1 DBD 1, Discussion Board 1. The other says Week 1 Discussion Board 2. So all you need to do is to hit the reply button, type in your response right there in the box. Make sure you include your citation, and then hit the submit button. It is possible to attach it as a Word document, but it's a little more cumbersome and it's harder for those of us that are reading your responses to be able to access those. So if you would use that reply button and put your responses right there directly into the discussion board thread, that would be perfect. So this week, the two discussion board entries that you have, the first one is kind of a fun one. It's about you. So you're going to follow the prompts and tell us who you are and your teaching background. It asks some questions about your philosophy and things that describe you. So it's kind of a fun entry. And since this class is so small, I believe we're still at 6, I would encourage you to read everybody's responses. You don't have to reply to all of them, but at least get acquainted with each other by reading through that first discussion board entry. The second discussion board entry is a reflection on the video that is also posted under week 1. It's a video by Sir Kenneth Robinson. If you have not seen his videos before on TED Talk, he's very engaging, very easy to listen to, and I would encourage you to make sure you watch that video and respond to it before you start your assignment for the week. So now let's talk about that assignment. This assignment is going to be a 2-page philosophy statement based on both your personal experience and on the definitions, theories, and roles of the curriculum worker. For information about the curriculum worker, you'll find those in Chapter 1 on pages 18 through 20 and in Chapter 2 on page 29. It also asks you to consider how major educational philosophies resonate with your own teaching philosophy. So you'll encounter some of that in Chapter 1, and again, more discussed in depth the philosophies in Chapter 2, and they are summarized in a table on page 33. When this talks about a 2-page statement, it is 2 pages of content, of responding. Many of you are going to find it difficult to respond in 2 pages, but you want to keep this concise. You'll have a total of 4 pages when you submit, because you'll have a title page and a reference page. Please try to keep your response and content to no more than 2.5 pages. It's part of learning how to summarize, synthesize, and be concise with your responses. If it gets too long, over 3 pages, I will count off points for that. So just a little heads up. All of your papers that you will be submitting are to be done in APA format. There is a resource button on the left side of your blackboard, and there are 2 things that I want to make sure that you look at there. One is a template for your papers. You can simply download that template and type right into it, so it will organize and set up your paper in APA format. The second button is Concordia's APA Basics, and it has page numbers that refer you to the APA manual, which you really do need to buy because you'll be using it throughout this program. That resource, the APA Basics, really covers almost everything that you need to know for your papers until you get to the end of the term. There's another resource on there about verbs of attrition. Don't worry about that. That is for the summative course that you have at the very end. You need to make sure that on all of your paper submissions that you include a separate, centered on the page, both vertically and horizontally, a title page that includes a running head at the top, which is also page 1. You will start your pagination with your title page and you'll end it with your reference page. Your reference page, which is not a bibliography, it is constructed differently than a bibliography, is also always a separate page. In this case, you might only have 1 or 2 sources, but it needs a page of its own no matter how many sources you have. That reference page refers to, in APA style, using a hanging indent to make your entries, and you will also notice that in APA style the titles of your resources only capitalize the first word of the title. So pay attention to that when you look through the resources and in your APA manual. For this assignment, there is a rubric, so make sure that you look at the expectations on the rubric. That is where I grade you. So make sure that you address each area of the assignment. If you want, you can use a level 1 heading, which is explained in the resource pages and in your manual. And if you want to just title it each section of the paper, that makes it easy for me to read and to find. So make sure you include everything that's asked for in the assignment and check it with the rubric before you submit it. Again, I'm sorry, one thing I did not address is that this assignment also asks for a second source outside of your textbook. So to help facilitate that, I've also uploaded 3 additional resources for you to consider as you're writing this paper. You certainly don't have to use those resources. If you can find other scholarly resources of your own, that's fine. Whatever you use, you need to include that along with your textbook in your reference page. So that pretty much covers what you can expect for this week. You will be busy. I generally upload my videos on Sunday night. For next week, it'll probably get up on Monday night because I'm going to be out of town this week. However, I will have my phone with me. I will be checking emails, so please feel free to get a hold of me with any questions that you have. I hope you have a great first week, and I look forward to getting to know all of you through your discussion board entries next week.